Hi, this is Jegan. I am open source enthusiast. In this video, we are going to see about open source proxy server that runs on CentOS 8 stream platform. It almost has the features of a traditional firewall. Okay, um, let me list down the features: SSL authentication or SSL inspection. So this particular proxy server has this feature SSL authentication inspection, and second SSL HTTPS decryption. So if I say SSL inspection or HTTPS decryption, the meaning is if you have a URL which is HTTPS in nature, this proxy server has the ability to validate the header and also the payload, the entire URL till the end completely, and it has the potential to decrypt, just like a traditional browser, to decrypt the HTTPS traffic and take out the hash value and correlate the hash value with the cloud, similar to an antivirus functionality. And once it gets a bad response from once it gets a bad response from a cloud with respect to the hash value, say bad, what happens is that this particular proxy server will redirect the page. So here I'll just show you a drawing for the better understanding. So this is how this infrastructure will look like once you deploy this particular proxy server, the open source proxy server. Okay, so this proxy server, once it gets deployed, right, it will have a connection. As an API to the good and bad decision maker. Okay, so here you will be able to see some file hashes, which is meant for antivirus validation against good and bad decisions. Okay, so what this proxy server will do when it receives a HTTPS request from users, it will do the decryption internally within the proxy server from the HTTPS link. It will take out the hash value from the payload, whatever is there, or whether if it is having a hidden file or something, it will take out the hash value and send that hash value to the cloud, and it will ask for good and bad responses from the cloud. And once, if it against the hash value, if it receives a bad response back to the proxy server, this proxy server will redirect the page to the denied page. Okay, now further, the next important step is, or next important point that what I would like to highlight is, so since this proxy server is doing this SSL inspection and decryption, from this proxy server you will be able to download the authorized users certificate from the browser in the form of DER format or PEM format, and you will be installing it on the client machine's browser. So that what happens is that only the authorized machines can have access to this proxy server very securely and in an encrypted way. Okay, so that is there. So without having the proxy server certificate, right, definitely you will not be authorized to browse the internet itself if you are having access to this proxy server. Okay, without the certificate it will not work. So that will be the very first factor. And second factor is that you can create username and passwords for the users, so that you can track them and you'll be able to see the user report. And you will be having a DNS firewall integration also. If I say DNS firewall, once you have constructed this open source proxy server, okay, since this is CentOS 8, so this is the CLI of this proxy server. Okay, so you need to go and check the resolve.conf file to do the DNS firewall integration. So resolve.conf. Okay, here I'm using Google DNS, or you can use any other vendor's DNS also. It doesn't mean you have only this DNS server. You can have any DNS firewall IP addresses, such as the Open DNS, Cisco's Open DNS, right? You can use the Open DNS, this IP, or you can use CloudFlash DNS, or you can use Google, that I like to use, and you can use Komodo DNS, Quad9, and these are all actually not just the DNS; they are DNS firewalls in nature. You can use according to your wish. Okay, so let me go back to the features. So once if you integrate this proxy server with respect with the any DNS firewalls that you like, right? It almost, see, since it is having the SSL decryption, encryption, and it is having a cloud update for the MD5 hash values. Okay, since this proxy server is talking to the API, and it is in turn resolving to the DNS firewall, it both gets clubbed together, and it almost has the feature of the firewall itself. That's why during the beginning of the video I mentioned the this proxy server almost behaves like a firewall only. Okay, so that's how HTTPS decryption. So that as I mentioned earlier, I think I repeated this point here. So let me remove this. So to summarize, this proxy server, it can do SSL authentication, inspection, decryption. You have username and password, and you can do user reporting, and you can do DNS firewall integration, which I shown you in the CLI to integrate the DNS. Now let me walk you through the user interface of this proxy server. Okay, this is hosted on the public cloud, and I am on the proxy manager page. Under the proxy manager page, you will be able to see users list. Under proxy blocker, you will be able to block with respect to the URLs, keywords, domains, and file extensions. You have an option to add and remove them, and you have this download existing data to see what is there in the list, what is blacklisted, what is whitelisted. Those you can see. Okay, and the next is you will be able to create user on your own. You can create as many users as such, and and here this is create certificate for Windows and Mac. Once you click this, you will be getting a download in DER format. For Windows and Mac, it is the DER only, and if you're using any Linux, you need to have this PEM file. Okay, download it. And these certificates you need to download, and you need to import on the browsers. Like, you can use it on the Firefox, or you can use it on the Tor, you can use it on Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Safari, Opera, any browsers it is compatible. So no restrictions with respect to the browsers. And the next tab, I will walk you through the proxy reporting. Proxy reporting means you will be able to see the reports of all the individual users. This is actually, it's built on Squid Analyzer. So if I see the user stuff here, Jegan and Parthi are the two users I have created. When you saw this on Proxy Manager, you will be able to see what I was doing across the internet, what are all the things I was browsing, then how long I was I was existing on the particular URL, all the timestamps, everything is clearly recorded. In addition to that, it will tell you how much bandwidth I have consumed in terms of percentage, and you can use it, what are all the sites that has got denied, everything you can see. That is the part of the proxy reporting. And anything, yes. And another thing is that you will be able to once you create this user, okay, once you create a user, you will be able to reset his password. Okay, you can do some resetting on the password. You will be, if this is going to be current password, you can just go ahead and change it and update it. It will get updated. And what you can do is you can delete the user account also. If this is going to be the existing user, you can go ahead and delete it. These things we will be seeing it step by step with all the features. Now let's go into the this is the quick summary of the features of this particular proxy server. Now let's deep dive into the demonstration, and let's see the power of this proxy server. Okay, so now what we will do, let's see whether we are able to prevent this keyword, URL, domain, file extensions, and all these things. Let's check one by one, and let's check the malwares also. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, right, these things are called as the AICR test filings, means to check whether this proxy server is having the ability to block the malwares that are hidden behind the HTTPS, because as it is able to decrypt and take the hash value, compare with the cloud, and then redirect the page to block page. Those things also we will be able to see. Now let's start from the basic validation. So as I mentioned earlier, for this proxy server, you need to do some certain browser settings, and you should have the certificate imported. For this demonstration, I'm going to use Microsoft Edge. Okay, so now let me go to the settings first. Let me import the certificate first. So I have already downloaded the certificate for this from the proxy server which is on the cloud. So now for this proxy server, I need to put the DER file inside the trusted root certificate authority. Okay, inside that I should put. So now let me import it. I have already downloaded this from the cloud. So that DER file is available on this proxy cert. So let me put all files. So this is a DER file. Let me import the certificate. Okay, the certificate has been imported successfully. Okay, the certificate has been imported. Now I need to enable proxy settings here. So already I have put the proxy server IP address here, which is 194.195.116.114, and this proxy server is listening on 3128 port number. I am turning it on. Okay, it is on. So now I'm hitting save. So let me grow set and let me restart the browser now from the beginning. So it will ask for the username and password. Okay, let me put Google once, google.com. It's asking for the username and password. Now what I need to do, I need to put the I will put my name and get authenticated first. So we are checking the authentication part now. Join.1. Okay, now I am going to sign in. Now I have signed in. Now Google has loaded. Next is, okay, now Google has loaded. Okay, now here we need to do things. I told you, right, it was asking for the username and password. I gave the username and password. Next it got the Google page because it has authenticated me. That is why it is showing. Now we need to first check it. I told you, if this mission is not authorized and if it is not going to have the proxy certificate, I should not be able to get the Google page. Now let's see that also. Now I'm going to remove the certificate and see how this is going to behave. Okay, now trusted root certificate, let me search the list for the name open, and I will remove the certificate from the list, whatever I imported earlier. Now I will restart it having the proxy enabled. Go to Google. Okay, username and password, yes, that is fine. That is one criteria. And once I try to go there, okay, actually I didn't give sign in. That's the problem. Sign in. See, there is an error, and you will not be able to go to Google, though username and password is authenticated, because I'm not having the certificate on my browser installed, right? Now let me go to yahoo.com. The same error will come. Because it is telling, though if I give advanced also and click unsafe also, it is not going to load, because the proxy server, whatever is trying to authenticate with username and password, the proxy is telling you give me the certificate. If certificate is not there, similar to cryptography, it will not authenticate me, it will not allow me to browse any longer. So the first authentication step will be the username and password, and it will check for the certificate. Even if the username and password is wrong, it is not going to work. The certificate is not that 100%, nothing will work. Okay, now let's go ahead and import it once for further testing. Okay, it's not extensions. So let me go to the settings. Let me put the certificate back. Trusted root certificate, import, and now I'll go to browse and browse, and I'll go to all files. Then I'll put DER file. Let me import this very quickly. Finish. Yes, yes. Close. Restart this browser. Let me authenticate quickly. Now I have the certificate, right? Now it should work. Okay, it should. I should get Google. Google came. Okay, so here let us check the certificate. It should be open, right? The name of the certificate was open. So under open only things are getting loaded. Just see the certificate. See, under open only Google is getting loaded. And if I am searching anything under this chain of trust, okay, under open Google is loading, right? If I am search for anything, definitely Google will tell me it looks like you are a machine, or it will tell that you are trying to do some attack. So it will ask me for some captcha tests. I need to just take some few seconds to finish it off. Let's do it. And yeah, let me search for something like EACR test file. Okay, I think it didn't ask, maybe it just stored on the cache, and usually it asks for captcha, so no problem now. Now let us go to this page. Okay, now this particular link, whatever I'm showing you here, right, these things are going to have some multiple, this site is actually used for testing this antivirus and checking the functionality of a firewall, whether it is blocking malwares via HTTPS decryption and all these things. There is one more link from Palo Alto that also we will take it. Okay, so let me go here. Let me go to that link quickly. Palo Alto test link. So actually what I am demonstrating here is the HTTPS decryption part right away, and I'm going to show you all these things. Okay, so let's test it quickly and finishes this off very quickly. You see, test a sample malware file. Okay, let's do it. And if you here you study this, if you have an SSL decryption enabled on the firewall, use one of the following rules. This is what Palo Alto website is telling. They are given it to test your proxy server. So mine is open source proxy, right? Let me see whether I am able to match the Palo Alto's requirement, whether it is able to compete with it. So what I'm telling is that let me take this link and put it on this browser, on the Edge browser, and see whether it is able to block me from the hidden malware and redirect me to the denied page. Right, interesting. It's a HTTPS link. Let's see how it works. Yes, successful, and I have many more to show. I have just completed this link. Okay, still 4 more to go on the top, which is already available in this page, which is stored on the cache. Okay, so here these things are the 4 links. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 are listed here. Okay, 2zip, 1txt, and .com. So this zip, txt, and com. Now having this, I will open on the new tab on this Microsoft Edge. It should block me. Even that is HTTPS. See at the left bottom, it is telling HTTPS. Okay, let me see if it is getting blocked. Yes, denied. Let me open another one. Denied. Let me open another one. Third one. Denied. Let me open the final 4th one. Denied. Test malware from Palo Alto. It is already here as denied, and all the anti-malware test decryption, it shows successfully as it's decrypting and it is blocking it. Okay, and how these things usually everything is getting validated, it is typically it's all open source stuff. If you could reach me, I will explain you how I have built it and what are the services I have done. So this video is nothing but showing you the nothing but demonstrating it, how this proxy server is so efficient and how the architecture is, what is the efficiency. That's it. If you want to know how this is getting built, you need to reach me. Okay, now let's go to the other validation, and now what we are going to validate is all these links, right? All these text links, whatever we have seen now, we will do it in Mozilla Firefox, where proxy security is not applied. Okay, so everything should get downloaded because it is not behind the proxy. Let's see what is going to happen. Yes, it is getting downloaded. Let us go to the another link. So actually this is text file. Let's see quickly. Yes, the page is coming actually. This should not come in. It should go to the denied page. Everything is loading here without the proxy security, because Mozilla's Firefox browser, I have not enabled the proxy. So this should also get downloaded. So I'll just cancel it here. Next link, this link, I will try, and now I will put it back here. Yes, now let's check the Palo Alto's test malware link. Alright, to text malware link, and again yes, everything is getting downloaded. So our Internet Explorer page, right, everything was getting denied because this Internet Explorer and Google Chrome was behind the proxy server, right? So let's go to the next test. What we're going to do is we will look at the other features of this proxy server, is how to block the keyword based searches and all these things, keywords, domains, file extensions, full URL, and IP address and all this stuff. Okay, now let's start with the keyword very quickly. Now what I'm going to do is I want users to stop searching the word Manipal, for example. Choose this domains URL keywords, put add Manipal, then go down, then just give submit. Okay, now what you need to do is go back to the browser, go to Google, and now you search the word related to Manipal. So Google search results should not show anything, actually it should block and take me to the denied page, right? So the keyword matches, it should block, even the search results should not come. I'm hitting enter, it says denied. Now let me roll back this. I need to put, all I need to do is just remove and hit submit button. Okay, I'm just clicking OK. Okay, so once it is done, I have just rolled back. Now the same thing should work here, right? So let me go back to google.com. Now let me search for Manipal. Everything should roll back and it should start functioning. So search results are coming. Next we will validate for file extensions. So we are going to check with two things. One means file extensions, an URL that has a .php extension or a URL that has an extension with the ASPX. We will check that. And this particular feature, you need to go again to the proxy blocker, and then you need to just change it to file extensions. Just put add, and here two extensions I don't want to see. Get the searches. It works for MP3, MP4, and maybe any file extension in that you specify here. So here, for example, let me put PHP, and another one is ASPX. So once I have done it, now I'll go ahead and hit submit. Okay, I have put the submit button. So now let me go here and let me go to Google once again. Okay, so here not Google, actually I need to test with the URL with the file extension, right? So let me take this, shift to home, copy it, now go back here, now paste this URL and see see here it has got the PHP, right? It should deny, right? Yes, it has got denied. Now the same should happen for the ASPX also. So shift end, control C. Now let me go back here and again paste the URL once again, hit enter with ASPX, again it is denied. Okay, now let me go and roll back quickly. So just choose remove. I am removing this file extension so that the links can just get passed through. Hit submit, hit OK. Next go back here, take this link with ASPX. The browser must allow me, right? So it should get loaded. Yes, it is getting loaded. Let's check the another link which is on the top with PHP. It should allow me to do so. Okay, yes, the page got loaded. So we have finished testing two things. One is with the keyword search, and the file extension is done. Now let's check with the domain. For domain, what I can do is that let me block the same URL that ended with ASPX. Because it is loading for now, right? It is loading here. So this loaded page, if I block the respective domain like visualstudiomagazine.com, once I update it in my proxy server, if I hit refresh, it should get blocked. That's a concept, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just copying this word from the URL. Okay, I'm going back to the proxy server. So now what I'll put a domain URL keyword, and then now I'll just put add. I will take this back, but put this as it is. Don't do anything, just hit submit. It's updated. Now what you need to do is go here, and if I hit enter the same page, right, it should get denied. Okay, because Visual Studio magazine.com is submitted in proxy to block it. Let me hit enter once. That's it, as easy as possible. Okay, so what we have seen for now, so we have seen the keyword part, and we have seen the URL with as per your file, both the full URL and the extensions, everything works. Let me whitelist this so that we can check the full URL path also. Okay, let me whitelist this and just test it. Give it, test it. Just let me remove it. Let me remove it. Submit it. Now let me go back to this and let me go here, visualstudiomagazine.com. It should work. Okay, it is getting loaded now. Now the same thing, what I need to do is I need to block the whole set of URL bunch. Okay, just take Control C. Since it is having the ability to block the keyword and domain, this concept is going to remain the same at the backend. So what I'm going to do is just give add, remove the whole one, put the whole URL to block. If I put add, I'm going to block it, block the URL. Okay, and yes, it is updated. Now let me go. If I refresh this page, it should get blocked. Yes, it's blocked. So what are the things that we have? Oh, let me whitelist it back so that all the tests are done. Okay, now I have whitelisted that URL. So what happens is that I need to get back the page, right? Shift N, C, it should come back to me. Yes, it's getting loaded. So these tests are done. Now what next? What are the things that are left out here? So keyword management, full URL blocking, allowing domain, allowing blocking, file extension, allowing blocking. Let's do one test for IP address based blocking. And what I can do is what I will do. Let me give some NS lookup for this. So let me see what could be done here. Okay. IP address based blocking. Okay, I had an example here, right? Okay, let me block onCloud. Let me block onCloud here. Okay, it's directly getting loaded. So let me see if this is working there. Let us see if this is working through proxy. From there we can decide, we can use the same thing to test the IP address based blocking. I think this should work. What is this? The following error encounter trying to retrieve this URL. Okay, it looks like this is a self-signed certificate and this is a self-signed certificate, and it looks there is a conflict. So definitely it is not going to load the IP address part testing. Okay, because an URL cannot have such an IP address directly associated. You need to have a domain registered and then you can perform on it. So all these things are possible. So but instead of getting the error, if I mention the IP address on the proxy, let me see if it is getting blocked. Let's give a try on that. So what I will do is I will open the proxy page. I will paste it. I'll just mention the IP address. Let me see if this pattern should actually block it. Let me see if Squid can redirect to the block page instead of showing me an SSL based error. Okay, let me give it a try. Just trying this out. Looks like it has taken the result. So if I put it back, it should be blocked. Yes, it's blocked. I think it's working. See this IP address, right? I marked this IP address. When I put it on the browser, it is actually blocking, so that works. So all the functionalities are there. Okay, so keyword, full URL, domain, file extension, IP address inspection, allowing blocking, everything is same. And we have seen how it is able to detect the malwares when it's getting downloaded and how it is redirecting this page. Okay, we have seen almost all the features. Now let's see the user management in this proxy server. So three things we are going to see. One is how to create the user, now how to change the credentials for the user, and how to delete the user account using this proxy server. Okay, create user, then change the password for the user, then delete the user. Okay, now let's start. Now let me create a user. Okay, now what I will do is let me create a user named open, and open at the rate um, or source open source Jegan at gmail.com, then followed by the my number. Okay, so let's try creating this. So I already have the certificate installed for this proxy server. So um, I have already on the same video I have already installed this certificate right now. So there is no need to install certificate again. Now let's see this view all users list. Yes, like the user has been created with a login ID open.1. It has given me a password. This is the default password generated at the time when I'm creating a new user. Okay, now let me see how it works. So the username is open. Okay, sorry. So I need to copy the password, and the login ID is open.1. So it is saying, let me paste the password and let me put the username is open.1. Let me log in. Okay, so I'm able to log in successfully. Now I have created the user and I'm able to log in. Let me see if on my proxy report that I'm able to see the name open created under the users. Okay, under the users. Okay, I think it takes a couple of minutes to get updated. The users, I need to get open. Okay, let me see it later. So meantime, what I will do is I'll go and change the change the password for this user open. Okay, I need to change this password. That's my goal now. So the password I'm going to use is JS198989. Updated. Okay, it's done. So let me close the browser and let me open it once again. It is asking, but what was my old password actually? I need to check that. So I think it is in my yes. Okay, this was my old password actually. Okay, so let me see if that has changed to the new password first and then check with the old password. Open.1. So my new password, whatever is registered now, is JS198989, right? This is my new password. So let me authenticate with this new password. I'm copying it, putting it here, signing it. Looks like it worked. Yes, it worked. And let me see if my old password works. So open.1 and followed with my old password, which is this password that I copied it lastly. And actually it should not authenticate me for sure. Good, it didn't work. So this was my last password, right? Just copying it, putting it back on the password field and changing it to .1 and trying it with the old password. No joy. Open.1. Now I'm going to put with this password, copy, come back here. Where are you? Open.1 and the new password, which is this JS198989. Yeah, it worked. So the change password is working. Now I'm going to delete the user now. Okay, I don't want this user anymore. So click this delete button. Okay, it takes a moment because while updating the password, actually the services behind the user accounts, actually it reloads, and deleting the password, the service actually restarts. So just takes some few additional seconds to finish removing this user account. Now whether with the old password or new password, if I'm going to authenticate, nothing is going to work because that user doesn't exist, right? So let's test that. So now let me go back to the browser. It is asking for the username open.1, and I'm putting the password. Yes, 198989. Now it doesn't exist, and even I'll put the old password also. Oops, sorry. The old password, this account. No, because I have deleted the total user account from the list. There are no users exist in the proxy server, so it doesn't work. But actually, I was browsing some Google with this open username. If I go to the proxy report, I just want to ensure if the users have been updated. Let me click users, and can you see there is open.1? If I go to open.1, I think I was browsing to Google, msn.com, and many things just got updated. So my user account statistics has been clearly updated with open.1. So it is under tracking, right? So we have seen each and every single feature in detailed with respect to this open source proxy server. I hope this video was very informative, and thank you for watching.